Thank you all for coming to the our town council workshop, our special town council workshop today, Tuesday, August 19th at 5:30. The location's at 24 Main Street, Gray, Maine. If you're joining through Teams or want to join through Teams, if you go to our website, the link is there. Or if you want to call in, the phone number is 469-708-0487. Meeting ID is 979-109-990. I'm going to do a quick roll call, starting from my left to right. I will start with Ann.
Ann is present.
Charity.
Present.
Vince.
Present.
Ken.
Present.
And I am present as well. All right, so tonight we're here to review the additional proposed cuts to the town budget. As many of you are aware, the original budget was overwhelmingly voted down. In response, we brought forward some suggested reductions, and several councils requested a deeper analysis. After reviewing all the data, they have come back with some further proposals that will be considered tonight. We will address these items, and we will open it up later on for public comment. And one concern I heard consistently over the years is the council doesn't always listen to the public, so we'll give you an opportunity to give us some feedback. I also want to acknowledge the significant time and effort that Vince and Mike have dedicated to this work. These decisions have not been made lightly. While not everyone's going to be satisfied with the intent has always been to balance fiscal responsibility with community needs. Once we've reviewed and voted on these items, we'll either make any final adjustments or keep them as they are. From there, we will proceed to the special town meeting tonight, which will be, we'll proceed directly to the town meeting, and then the special town meeting will be held on September 9th, where the public will vote on the articles presented. I ask that everyone remain respectful through this discussion. Each councilor here is working to represent their constituents to the best of their ability, and while opinions may differ, our shared goal is to do what is best for the town. And Mike, if you want to take it over.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Town Council. Rather than recap the entire budget process, since we've done that a couple of times here in this room, I figured I'd dive right in to the proposed Town Council reductions. I've worked with Councilor Palangi to craft a list of adjustments based on recommendations from him and other councilors that wanted to go over this evening. So I'll get my slide up there for the list of proposed reductions. Totals $214,450, and this is a proposed reductions from the budget that I had proposed that was dated June 25th, and some of the feedback that we've received from Town Council at various workshops. So we kind of have like a working document right now, and so all of these figures and the various things that we have to work through are part of the working documents. And then once the Town Council adopts a budget, those will be reflected in the budget warrants and will be reflected in an updated budget book and budget website that shows all the numbers as adopted on by the Town Council. Right now, they reflect the budget that I proposed back then.
Point of information. Are copies of this information available to the people here who are here in the room tonight?
So all this information was included in the workshop packet,
okay,
as well as the Town Council packet.
Okay.
If for some reason someone needs a printed copy, we can run to get the packet printed if they'd like.
Okay.
But so the total reductions are total $450,000, $20,000 of it which is from TIF, and I'll just explain that if we reduce those in the operating budget, that therefore subsequently reduces a revenue line from tax increment financing. So there's no net gain as far as the property tax is concerned or the total budget. So I just wanted to point that out. Of those $214,450 of reductions, $96,950 comes from the administration portion of the budget. There are various accounts related to HR, training, planning, and economic development. The other section is library and recreation, which is $17,500, which includes reductions in library materials as well as some recreation training. And then the last reduction is a reduction of $100,000 in public works, which in place of will use money from our road resurfacing capital reserve that has previously existed in order to accomplish our entire road resurfacing program for this year. And so I just wanted to show what these proposed cuts affect the total budget. So it would bring the total revised fiscal year 26 budget to $12,364,000, which is a $1,039,011 decrease from the previous fiscal year, which is also a 7.8% reduction. There's no change to tax increment financing, and the changes to the school, which have been recently adopted by the school. Those reflect an increase of $1,422,968, or 11%, for a total of $14,059,608 for Gray's share of the MSAD 15 school district. And then county tax still remains the same as proposed, which is $59,862 increase, which is 6.1%. So this reflects a total operating budget for municipal, school, and county of $28,401,646, which is a increase of $190,805, or 0.68%. There's no change to the revenues, the proposed non-property tax revenues, which are currently forecasted to be a reduction of $123,372, for a reduction of 1.7%. And then, therefore, this all gets calculated and added to a property tax needs. And so for the municipal budget, there's a total property tax needs. We need to raise taxes in order to support these portions of the budget. We would need to raise $5,239,592 to support the municipal budget, which is a reduction of $1,201,818 from fiscal year 25, which is a reduction percentage of 15.6%. No change to tax increment financing with the school. The increase that needs to be raised is $169,954, which is a 9.1% increase. And the county tax remains at $59,862, which is a 6.1% increase.
Point of information?
Yes.
I just wanted to check with you, the municipal subtotal, is that what you're looking at on, where you said it was a 15 or something percent reduction?
15.6%, yes.
Because in the packet it says 18.7%.
On which one?
Let's see, the municipal subtotal?
But what packet page are you referring?
Well, let's see, packet page 8. I'm sorry, I may be in the wrong spot.
It's so the original. Okay, 18.7. I apologize. That was an error from the. This is with the proposed cuts. The
Right.
number is correct. The 1,201,000. I failed to adjust the.
But the
percentage.
18.7 is.
It's 18.7.
So
I
we're talking
apologize
about
for that
almost a
oversight.
20% reduction over last year's budget.
Yes, 18.7%.
All right,
reduction.
including the extra
I can
proposed
make
cuts.
that
tonight.
change as
Yeah.
we speak.
Okay, thanks.
So I apologize for that oversight. And so the total net needs to raise for property taxes is $21,277,238, which is $27,988 more than last year, than fiscal year 25, or a 0.1% increase. And so this all translates into a tax rate, which is set as part of this process. As part of the fiscal year 26 revised budget with the proposed cuts, it would reflect a 57-cent reduction in the property tax rate, or 19.3%. I missed it on that one too. So it's 19.3% on the tax rate. And there's no change to TIF, and then the change to school remains a 48-cent increase at 10.1%. And then county is a 2-cent increase at 5.3%. This reflects to a total mill rate of $9.63, which is 7 cents less than the fiscal year 25 mill rate, or 0.7%. This would have an effect on an average home assessed in Gray of $476,000. Their annual property tax bill as part of this revised budget would be $4,585.60, which would be $31.60 less than fiscal year 25. And so just want to say where we've come from. The original proposed budget back in March had a proposed municipal portion of the property tax rate reduction by 15 cents. And now with the proposed cuts, it's showing a 57-cent reduction. The decrease covers the school increase as well as the county increase, and then also reduces the tax rate even further. And we did this with significant spending adjustments to significantly reduce that tax rate. And I just want to mention again, where do we go from here? So the recommended proposed revised budget and warrant articles to the voters with the proposed cuts was included in draft form as part of this packet. As the chair mentioned, we can schedule an open floor town meeting to take place on September 9th, which covers the articles, the failed articles as part of the budget. And if the town council wanted to make any potential further cuts, those would have to result in reductions in employees and benefits or services. And then we could also make further reductions if the town council wanted to use additional funds from the unassigned fund balance. And so happy to entertain any other recommendations from the council and answer any questions the town council may have for myself or for Councilor Kalangi, who worked on the proposed reductions.
I have a question. Can you go back to the last slide? Go to the
Oops, let me
rate
just-
to municipal.
Yeah, let me just share that. I closed the window. Hold on. So. The tax rate you wanted?
I want the mill rate. So we ended up at 2.37?
For the municipal budget, it's $2.37.
Correct. The $100,000 that you took out of the capital reserve, that doesn't apply to the mill rate, correct?
No, it did, because I was able to reduce the public works budget by $100,000, and we will use funds from the road resurfacing capital reserve in order to complete our scheduled paving plan, which has a budget of around $450,000 plus or minus any cost increases or challenges encountered during the paving program.
Okay, so the calculation of 0.57, that's what's going to save the taxpayers on our end.
On the municipal portion of the
Yes.
budget, it's a 57-cent reduction to the
Correct.
tax rate.
Okay, I'll have to calculate that. Did you calculate that out, what that's going to save the people?
I mentioned for the whole budget, it would save everyone $31.60.
Yeah, but we're not part of the whole budget, we're just.
But
part
it
of
all
this
gets
stuff.
connected together.
Okay,
So you want to know what the total is just for the municipal budget?
yes, what our cuts mean to the taxpayers,
So
just on our end.
57 times 476. For the municipal budget, the average property taxpayer would pay $271.32 less to support the municipal budget.
Thank you.
Mike, I think we were talking earlier, there's some changes that we need to make, right? As far as the snowmobile club, we can't remove that? Is
Yeah,
that
so
what you
one of
said?
the proposals that was brought forth was a reduction of $1,000 to the snowmobile club. And we've reviewed a state statute which requires any funds collected for snowmobile fees. There's a portion of the fee that residents and non-residents pay for snowmobile club registrations that goes towards maintaining snowmobile trails. And so in fiscal year 25, that totaled around $2,100. And so it varies from year to year. And so we've determined that we don't need to include that in the budget anymore. That will just simply, when the state returns us that share of the fee, we will just translate that right over to the snowmobile club. So there'll be no need to require that in the budget. So therefore, we would have to actually make a $2,000 reduction in the contribution to the snowmobile club and a corresponding revenue reduction of $2,500. So it's pretty much a wash, so it shouldn't have an effect much on the tax rate. But we won't report those revenues anymore, and we won't record those expenditures anymore, and those funds will simply pass through the town to the Snowmobile Club. And some years it might be higher than those numbers, and it goes through whatever we get back from the state based on the share of the fee.
All right, so it's nothing to do with us, it's just, so
It'll
we're
come
gonna,
to us from the
regulation.
state.
yeah, so we're just gonna get it out of here, right?
Yeah, we're just gonna get it out of the math. Yep.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
so I can make those specific adjustments whenever the council finalizes what they want to do with all the adjustments. And then before our meeting, I can do the quick math to have it reflect on a revised warrant article that I can print out, and also a tax rate calculation if folks would like to see that.
I know there's a couple, so, let me see here. Can Denise step up, is she here? Can you just get up for a second and talk real quick about the cuts to the TIF and what the effect will, if any?
Do we wanna go top to bottom, or you just wanna jump around? What do you wanna do?
Do you want to go through it? I mean,
I mean,
I'd like to.
better just to go top down? What do you think?
okay,
I just don't wanna skip somebody that wants to talk.
okay.
Well, I'll let Denise,
Hey,
well,
Denise-
she's already up here, let her.
Yeah,
come on.
all right,
Come on
so,
up.
so I know there's a few items in here under TIF. Is this okay? Does this work? Can you still get done what you need to get done?
I appreciate the work that you folks did to reinsert the funds that you had originally thought of reducing. Once you understood the impact, I believe that we can work with what is left with us. Thanks.
Okay.
Yep.
I'd like to know just sort of specifically what won't happen as a result of these cuts? Can you give us an idea of that?
If I could see the lines, I believe at this point it's mostly in advertising, which is sufficient. And the other cuts were in member dues, which was fine because I believe that we had an allotment in the event that we had other memberships that may come up that we weren't thinking of. And then professional services, what's remaining there is sufficient to cover the legal services and the other zoning ordinance. And what clearly the additional funding is always there in case we need some professional services. And at that point, we do have some money in the Village Transformation Project, a separate line that's already in a budget if we would need that at this point. So I think it would work.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's just no wiggle room,
No.
right? No room for creativity or projects or opportunities that come along in the middle of the stream. I mean, I don't know about this community, but it has been done in the past where we can come back because they are TIF funds. They're not, you don't need a separate appropriation. It's there. We could potentially take a look at that opportunity mid-cycle if we had something hypercritical, that opportunity of a lifetime that we would need that. And so, I mean, that would be my recommendation at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm concerned about that because I think that, losing the opportunity to take it, not having the funds to take advantage of opportunities, whatever they might be, whether it's additional training or to match funds from the state or the federal government for
And you don't have that
purposes.
opportunity
Yeah,
right
we're
now.
just not going to be able to
That's
do
correct.
that. And I think that, that's like working with one hand tied behind your back. And
For example,
I
some
would
of the
oppose that.
outcomes of these zoning ordinance may make some really valid recommendations. That means that we cannot begin to do the implementation till the next fiscal year. So that could be a problem.
Yeah, so that would be, the professional services line is 526, and the proposal is to remove $5,000 from that line. I mean, I would move to restore that $5,000 myself. I mean, I think our staff are, quite busy, and my experience is their days are pretty full already, and they also don't, as you might expect, have all of the expertise that we need to have them, take care of everything that comes up. And sometimes we simply have to go outside our staff and contract with other professionals, like legal services, a good example, to take care of those. So I would like to see those funds restored.
If I could just add one more thing, just a reminder to the public and to everybody, that the funds that are in this budget, whether you go up or down, are already there. They've already been placed in that account from generated tax revenue from years past or what's projected to come in. So you're not going to be raising taxes or raising any additional funds or looking for opportunity areas, and it's not going to impact the tax rate at this point.
Right, so that the $5,000 is, that I'm that one line is not, nothing with TIF on it is coming out of taxpayer pockets
Correct.
at this point, and we have to spend it for TIF eligible projects. Otherwise, we got to give it back to the state and pay a penalty, and it costs us down the line when we don't fully expend our TIF funds. And ultimately, you know, our property taxes will go up. So, I mean, to me, this seems pretty short-sighted, and I would like to see really all of the funds restored, but certainly the professional services line.
Are you making a motion to change it?
I'll make a motion, yes. We're gonna work, I just want, well, maybe just do let's do like a.
Go ahead.
A poll, you know, just a quick poll, hands raised, I mean, at this point.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yeah.
If I may just suggest that if you do want to act on items that you want me to include in a revised budget warrant,
Yep.
I think you should vote on those. And you can do that in a workshop because it's not a final decision.
Okay.
That's what I thought. All right. So I have a motion. I'll second it. All in favor of putting the $5,000 back in? All opposed? Okay. All right, so let's go back up to, all right, so staff training. Does anybody have any questions about that?
I would just say, as I did last time, staff training is of value. Like, I mean, I wouldn't take my car to a mechanic that hadn't had any staff training in, you know, 5 or 10 years because the industry changes pretty rapidly. I wouldn't go to a doctor who, you know, hasn't gone to any training in the last 5 or 10 years because, you know, that person probably is lacking some key information. So I just think this is one of those short-term budget benefits that will cost the town long-term, and a couple of different ways. I mean, one is our staff will lack needed information and skills to help the town, you know, deal with stuff that comes up. I mean, there's a ton of, just as one example, a ton of new bills came out of the legislature in the last session. How are staff going to figure that out, you know? And that stuff, you know, we can be held liable if we don't follow the law. And so I think that's one thing. But another thing is, I mean, professionals like to grow in their professional life. And if you are working in an environment where you're not valued and where your work isn't respected and you're not helped to grow in your profession, you're going to go find another place to work. And I think that's too bad because we have some great staff right now. I wouldn't want to lose hardly any of them. And the training is one of the ways that we say to you, we value you and we want you to be able to do the best job you can for us, and that's how we're going to get you to do it. So I would make a motion to add all the staff training back in.
Do I have a second? I'll second it. All in favor? All opposed? All right. Does anybody want to discuss? Well,
You know, I guess I would like to say, you know, fear is a great motivator. And when people say that, you know, people are going to leave or they're not going to get this or that, you know, the reality is, and first I want to thank Mike, because he's hiding behind there. I want to thank Mike for his help. We spent an awful lot of time going through things, and I think we came up with something that was, and you'll see when we go through this, there's substantial changes. You know, I look at, you know, Denise, for example, and I really appreciate her input. We put like 30 grand back into that based off of our conversation. And Mike and I went through these and we thought these things were reasonable and workable. And on top of that, again, you don't need to send 6 people to a training. You can send 1 or 2 and they can come back and train the others. And I know that the state or whomever, the government may give money to help fund half of it, but the town still has to fund the other half of it. So,
Right.
and so the reality is, it's still costing us money, and it still gives people that go out there a chance to come back and to share their experience and leadership skills by training the other people. And I think there's actually some value in that as well, because if everybody just goes and gets trained and gets talked to, that's great. But if somebody can come back and be a leader and help train and develop those other people, there's something to be said for that. So,
Do you know that that's not happening now?
yeah, well, I would disagree. But let's, I think we've already voted on it, so why don't we just move on?
And I would just say, just because you can, doesn't mean you should.
Fair enough.
All right, council training, reduction of $200.
I just moved to make a motion to approve.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Contingency, removing $17,000.
So-
And,
That's just so you know, that was on our, and again, I worked with Mike on this, and I appreciate Mike's input. Originally didn't want to have a contingency, and we ended up putting back, based on our conversation and what we wanted to balance, $33,000.
and if there's anybody from public that wants to get up and talk about any one of these, just raise your hand and we'll let you get up and comment real quick before we vote. Do we have a motion to accept the contingency?
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second that.
All in favor? All right, professional services, a reduction of $9,000.
I'd like to know what won't happen as a result of that reduction.
Mike, can you answer that?
Sure. A majority of these funds, we had budgeted last year for accounting assistance in order for us to get caught up on our finances in order to be able to complete the fiscal year 23 and 24 audits. We've completed fiscal year 23 audit, and we're in the process of having fiscal year 24 audit done. So we didn't feel, now that we have the appropriate staffing model, we didn't feel that we would need those professional services anymore. So I think that's an appropriate number. Most of the monies that we had in for the budget last year, we spent it on that outside accounting support.
Okay, do we have a
Thanks.
motion to accept the change?
Make a motion to approve?
Second. All in favor? All opposed? Let's see, all right, the next one here is
Audit.
the audit is staying the same.
Yeah,
Wait,
there's
Actually,
nothing-
the audit on original audit was 35,000, and Mike had requested additional money, so this year we're going to complete 24 and 25.
Yeah, so ends up gonna be about, we might go a little over in that line, but it'll be about $50,000 to complete fiscal year 24 and 25, which should be completed during this fiscal
Yeah.
year. So next year, because we'll be caught up and we'll only have to complete one audit at a time, that line can reduce significantly.
So that was a positive.
All right, ERC committee. I
Wanna
don't
make a
even
motion to
know what that, well, it
It's
didn't
employee
change.
recognition
I
committee.
don't need, there's no contention. there.
Yeah, there's no,
Okay, all right.
there's no
Okay.
change. We don't need to do that. All right, so ERC committee, what is that, Mike?
It's the Employee Recognition Committee, and we use that in order to have employee-related celebrations, purchase food for employees, retirement parties, various recognition events, things of that nature is what those funds are used for. That's something that was created just prior to my arrival, and we have a great team that works together to just try to bring some positivity amongst the workforce.
Okay. Is there anybody here that wants to comment? I'll just say this, I'll accept it, I'm not thrilled. I think that we need to give back to our employees, and, this is so minor. I just don't think it's worth doing it, but do I have a motion to accept them? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Against? All right, service milestone awards. Mike, what is that used for?
It's used for exactly as that. So like when an employee reaches 5 years of service, there's, the town provides a gift for that employee as part of our personnel policy, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and so on. So that very that fund can range depending on what we have for recognitions in those years. And I think the amount that we have will be able to accomplish the things that we need to, but it can always be nice to have more funds available to recognize employees for those milestones.
Okay. Any comments? Do I have a motion? Vinnie?
Move to approve.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Let's see. Spot awards. What is a spot award?
So that we hadn't had a plan in place where we were able to do awards for a good job if somebody was recognized or somebody told us about something, and then an employee of the month program we were hoping to try to establish to promote some recognition of employees. So we're able to keep some of that in there to potentially start that program. Otherwise, that program didn't exist, so it's a new thing for us that we had proposed in the budget.
Well, I have a question about this. So you give it a class, is that what you plan on doing?
In this case, it could vary depending on what it was, yeah. We might get like a gift card for someone or something if they did something good or positive, or
How about a parking spot right up front for the employee to run?
that's something we could consider. We'd have to buy a sign.
We could work on that one. I think that'd be fair.
All right, any comments? Do I have a motion?
Yeah, make a motion to approve.
All in favor? All opposed? All right, employee training and workshops, we cut it in half, Mike, what did we lose?
So we've hoped to try to grow that number over previous years to be able to provide more training. And so we have various training events where we might bring in an outside speaker or things of that nature to provide those different workshops. And so these employee training and workshops, as well as miscellaneous guest speakers, there's a few of those accounts related. So with the funds that we have kind of set aside for those various accounts, we think we'll be able to accomplish. So I'm not sure we would lose much with these adjustments. Again, they were new programs that we were trying to implement, and our HR director, now not fully responsible for payroll, thought we'd be able to do more of these things and to be able to better support our employees.
Okay, and if you want to step up, yep.
Would you like me to time these, Mr. Chairman?
Why don't you try it out?
Yeah,
So it works.
They'll time. Donnie Carroll, 2 Fairview Avenue in Gray. I looked at these things quickly, and I guess I agree with Councilor Gass that these are people. These are hardworking individuals who are not going to get the wage increases that we thought they were going to get, if I read the revisions correctly. Some 3% COLA they're going to get. And now we're not going to take the time to give them training or recognize them over and above the work they do. Every single one of them that I've ever come in contact with have been very professional, answered all the questions, gave me bad time when they had to or wanted to. And I just think it's vitally important that you recognize you aren't the face of the town. They are. They're the people that make the town work. Your employees are the best representatives you have. And to take this money, this pretty pittance amount of money, away from recognizing them and encouraging them to stay, I think is dead wrong and the wrong approach.
thank you.
Thanks, Donnie.
Any other comments?
Alba Leceros, Totten Road. You keep on talking about the impact of the cuts and about the lack of recognition. When you ask the public to talk to you, do you want to hear what the public tells you or you don't? Because the last time that we talked here, the town manager and you admitted that you had been overtaxing the people of this town for years. And I told you, I want you to make a study of how much have you overtaxed us and how that impacted the people of the town. Have you done it? I'm asking you, Chairman, have you done it?
We're not going back and forth.
Okay, so you haven't.
No, that's not what I'm
Okay.
saying, but we're not
No, but
going
that's
back
what
and
I'm
forth.
saying, it's
Yeah.
my time. But the thing is, it's fine to be asking all the time, what are the impact of the cuts? We want to know what's the impact of the overtaxing that you have done for years, and that you have admittedly done. Thank you.
You? Anyone else on this one? All right, do I have a motion to accept?
Move to approve?
Second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, so the next one is HR staff development cut by $1,000. Anyone, any questions?
My name's Pat Brown. I live on Charlotte. I've been in Gray longer than some of you folks. I really object to the tiny bits of, I agree with what Mr. Carroll said. We want to keep our staff. We're employers. The town is an employer. We need to act like 21st century employers, not 19th century employers. We need to support the folks that are here. We need to encourage them to stay. We need to encourage them to be professional, and we need to provide them support, moral support, because yeah, they're the face of the town to almost everyone who walks through these doors, not you guys.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Pam Edson, Yarmouth Road. Are we supposed to be saying that tonight?
I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to speak to that lady that just spoke, because I'm kind of going back to what we just talked about, keeping our employees. But I just want, do any of you know how much money, when it totals up for the Spot Award and the Employment Recognition Committee and the service milestone, how much all that is? I mean, it's $4,500. I think that is a lot of money to spend buying cakes, giving a little gift, recognizing people, a plaque, whatever. I mean, $4,500 isn't skimpy. I mean, we do a lot, and we're a town. We're not a private business. If you were a CEO and this was your business and you want to just give away the farm to somebody that you think's amazing, I would say go for it, but you're using taxpayer money, and I certainly think that $4,500 for employees to get awarded or have a cake or a party when they leave is plenty. I'm hoping Randy gets a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, so this is HR staff development. I don't know how we got there, but, all right, so do we have a motion to accept the $1,000 cut for HR staff development?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? All right, so employee development and stipends was cut by $1,500. Do we need any more discussion?
Yeah, what are the stipends for?
We set those aside in case there was an opportunity that somebody was going to take on additional work or something of that nature, that we would be able to offer them something maybe in an absence of another employee or things of that nature, but we'll try to work with what we have available.
Okay. Any comments? Do we have a motion?
The motion to approve?
Vince?
I'll second it.
Ken, second. All in favor? All right. Miscellaneous guest speakers, we're just going to cut that all together. Is there any public comment? Any questions from the group? Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second. Vinnie? All in favor? All opposed? Let's see. Education reimbursement. We're going to cut $5,000. And Mike, if I'm correct, this money is to be used for people that going for the masters, going things like that. They have to apply for it, and there have to be funds available. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. The town has had a policy in place for a number of years for education reimbursement, and it hasn't been funded. And a previous goal of the previous town council was to fund that. We had originally funded it at a much higher amount in the first cycle of the budget, and then we reduced it to $5,000 in the revised budget, and we reduced it to zero as part of these proposals. And it says in the policy, only if funds are available. So we're not taking anything away because it hasn't existed.
Okay.
There hasn't been funds available.
Any questions?
I just make the point, I think this is misguided, as I said earlier. I think this is a short-term benefit to the budget for long-term harm to the staff and to the town and to the work that they need to do for us.
Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to
Vinnie?
approve.
Second, Ken?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Opposed? Staying on that one. Training and workshops. We're gonna eliminate $4,000. What would that have been, leaving $1,000? Is it even worth leaving $1,000? I mean, you know.
Well, yeah, what's the difference between line, well, the 100 and 161 that we discussed earlier?
So the difference was some of them, we might have a workshop that we send people to, and another one is where we might have a trainer come to us.
I see.
And so we put those in the various budget lines all under the HR department. They're sub-lines in order to help us plan. And so we'll work with the funds that we have available to do the things that we can.
So we're saying the town of Gray expects other people to train our staff for free. That's kind of what it boils down to, which seems kind of a ridiculous proposition to me. I mean, other people's time has value also. You know, I just think, again, short-term reduction in the budget, which, you know, translates into like a penny or something in your tax dollars or tax bill, but you know, long-term harm, I think, to the town.
Any other comments? All right, do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? All opposed? Good. All right, moving down there. So I think we've kind of covered the TIFs. So,
512, 524, 526, and 534.
yeah,
Just
would you like to make a motion?
approve.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Opposed? All right. Planning professional development, we're gonna remove 2450. Mike, what is that? What is planning professional development?
This is specific, so as part of this proposed budget, we combined the community development department and the code enforcement department into a code enforcement and planning department. And so this was a rollover to support planning staff to attend trainings. And so we feel the funds that are remaining will be able to work for our planning staff to attend the appropriate trainings.
Any comments? All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Vinnie, all in favor? Opposed? All right, so let's go, advertising. We're gonna cut out $8,000. What do we advertise?
So this was money that was set aside if the town council itself or the town had any initiatives, ordinance changes or zoning amendments that would require any advertisement. And so we didn't have a lot of those last year, and I don't know, but I don't anticipate we'll have a ton. So we felt like we could survive with what that is in the current year. If we have initiatives and opportunities where those are necessary and we may exceed those funds, I'll let the council know that we may have to exceed that budget due to initiatives of the council.
So we can change this if we want to down the road.
Well, we'd have to take it.
No, you wouldn't be able to change it. You could exceed it. You could exceed the budget line, but I would be warning you that we would exceed the budget line and we would work to try to balance the budget elsewhere.
Okay.
And So, for example, in previous years, we've sent postcards to voters in the town to alert them as to upcoming budget votes. I think it's a good idea to do it around the September 9th vote, because we don't usually approve our budget in in-person town meetings. I mean, there are people who live in this town who've literally never been to an in-person town meeting. Don't really understand how it works, don't know that it even happens. And in 2023, when we went through this, there were people who stood up at the in-person town meeting and were shocked. I mean, shocked that they had to vote on the budget. They didn't even know. So I think it's important. I mean, we can argue about whether or not it's their responsibility to understand what their democratic, responsibilities are. But I mean, if the fact of the matter is that they don't know, how are they going to find out? And so I think that sending them a postcard is a good idea. I don't know, is there money in the budget to do that kind of thing?
So this budget figure is specifically for the Code Enforcement and Planning Department for, town-initiated ordinance changes.
Okay.
When a developer proposes something or whatever, they pay for that cost, so the town doesn't have to pay for that. We have other funds and other parts of the budget we can look into if the council would like us to send out a postcard in reference to the budget as a whole. We can try to find funds to potentially do that if that's something the council would like us to do. We've typically send out a budget flyer, which we send out as part of the proposed budget in the spring. And we could either send a similar flyer with the revised changes, letting people know about the September 9th town meeting, or we could simply send a postcard with maybe a QR code with a link to the budget information,
I think
whichever
that's a good idea.
the council would prefer.
Yeah, I like that idea.
But I mean, I just want to make the point that the leaner we make this budget, the harder it is to find funding in other pots of money. I mean, so we're driving to, a straitjacket in terms of what we're able to spend money on. And I'm very concerned about that. I don't think this is a
So
good idea.
you're saying we're supposed to overinflate items?
No, I think we should expect that as a large enterprise, there are going to be unexpected expenses that we have to plan for. And that's one of the ways that you build some flexibility in your budget is in not scraping everything to the bone.
No, that's why
Do we have a
extra-
motion to accept this?
I move to accept.
Second?
Second that.
All in favor? Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, Jen.
I would encourage you to standardize your process. You lumped all the TIFs together, which you hadn't lumped anything else together before. I had my hand up, but nobody saw it.
Right.
Well, feel free to
On
speak
this-
about the tips
On
if you
this,
want.
well, on this particular one of the issues is zoning. One of the issues is ordinances. We don't have the expertise or the experience to completely redo our zoning. You don't have the time or the expertise to completely do the ordinance work. We've heard in the recent past how there have been interest in coming to Gray, developing opportunities that would relieve the residential property tax burden, but we don't have the ordinances to allow for that. I don't know the specifics of this budget line, but I don't think it's wise to save this money or to cut this money if it's going to be used for that particular effort. Because until you get the zoning done, and until you improve the ordinances that we need to improve, you're not going to be in a position, Denise and the rest of the staff aren't going to be in a position to sell the town to opportunities that are out there that we can't take advantage of. So I don't know the specifics of this, but it isn't a lot of money. And if that's the effort it's for, I would encourage you not to cut it. I appreciate that you put a lot of effort into this budget. I appreciate that you've saved us all some money. In the last 5 years, the cost of living has increased not significantly, but higher than our tax rate. It's not unimportant to keep our taxes down, but it's important for us to be able to take advantage of opportunities that are in the future. I'll use the village plan as one. We've been working on that for 6 years. If it comes to pass, it isn't going to come to pass for a few more years. One of the problems the town has had is that we haven't been able to look far enough ahead to put in place the plans we need to put in place in order to take advantage of opportunities that other communities take advantage of that we've never been able to. So I would just caution you, everybody wants to save money, but I would caution you about some of these things, especially around planning, especially where they're about the future.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Just so you know, I actually had a meeting with both Mike and Denise exactly about that this morning with regards to the zoning. So we are absolutely looking at that, and we'll be probably discussing it at our workshop in September.
Thank you.
All right, so the next one is planning and consulting. We cut 12,500 out. You know, Mike, what are we losing on this if we take that out?
So we had previous staff where we had 2 planners
Okay.
on staff, and as part of the original proposed budget, we eliminated a salary and benefits associated with one of those positions due to a retirement. And so we wanted to set aside money in case there was planning initiatives that we didn't quite have the staff capacity, since we hadn't operated in a manner of working with only 1 planner. And so we set money aside for that, as well as money to support a consultant to help us with the rezoning efforts. We have some money set aside in the economic development budget to help us with the village portion of the rezoning. That's an eligible economic development activity. And then we have some money in this budget to help us with the remaining rezoning. So we'll work with the funds that we have.
All right, thank you. Do I have a motion? No,
Can I
any
just-
comments? Sorry.
Yeah, I
Ann.
mean, I really appreciate your, willingness to work with the majority on this the evident majority on this council, Michael, and, but I hear you saying we'll work with what we have, but that doesn't mean it's really, what we need. And I think especially in this area, as I said earlier, I mean, there are skills that we just either don't have, the staff don't have the skills themselves and we need to go to outside help, or they have the skills but they just don't have the time. And to me, $7,500 is not a lot of money. You can chew that up really fast, and there is significant zoning work that's not yet complete, and I think it's going to cost more than the $7,500. I moved to restore that full funding to 20 grand.
Do I have a second? I'll second it. All in favor? Opposed? Staying on that one. All right. So.
We can skip 610.
Yeah, so let's just go down to.
Well, hold on, you should probably say something about this. So Vinnie took this down to 0, and,
No, it was
No.
down. It was down to 1,200, and we just.
right.
When Mike and I went over it,
And you put it back in.
we put it back in.
All right.
Okay. The safety shoes.
Safety shoes and
apparel.
clothing.
Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
please go right ahead.
Okay, so Ann, this is where you're gonna get some of your extra money. This safety shoes, okay, so I just want everybody to know that at the end of this year, I think the total spent on safety shoes was $475. That's what they spent on that line item, if I'm right. But we have 2 part-time gentlemen and 1 full-time. And the part-time, if I'm right, they both work about 2 days a week, okay? So they're not even working full-time. So you could almost say that their pair of boots ought to last them 2 years. But what I want to say is that the town of Wyndham has 3 full-time code officers, and I went on to look at their budget this week. And they have in their line item for shoes, uniforms, T-shirts, they have a total of $1,200 budgeted, and they spent $479. It's almost the same thing. So this is just $2,250. It's like, if you know that they only spent $400 and change last year, why are we putting $2,200 in?
Because he took a little slack about it. And,
Wow,
he was just trying to.
Well, hey, yeah,
trying to get me
that's-
going. It worked.
We're not going to talk back and forth.
Okay, oh, excuse us. Anyway, I think that can, I mean, if you want to keep it in there so there can be a little extra money for something, fine, but that is kind of ridiculous for shoes. I mean, that's some really good shoes.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, so moving on.
Can I ask a question?
Sure. go ahead.
Mr. Foley, Can you please advise what departments are covered underneath that footwear and clothing?
So that's the Planning and Code Enforcement Department. And so it's not just for safety shoes, it's also for uniforms. So when they go to residences, they have the proper identification, if they have a jacket, things of that nature to ensure that they can be identified. So it covers 3 code enforcement staff, a planning staff, and the administrative assistants in that, so they can have the appropriate uniforms for the department. And in any of these budget lines, these are our best guess and best estimate for a year. Some years might be higher, some years might be lower. It's unfortunate that staff has to be penalized for being fiscally responsible and not needing as much in one year and might need much in a future year. So we would hope that the council would understand that there may be ebbs and flows to that, knowing that this isn't a huge budget line, that some years we might need more stuff than others, depending on the circumstances.
Okay, thank
Just
you.
Just on this one, Mike, we have talked about it, but the people that would really get the boots would be the 3 code people.
Just the folks that need safety equipment, not everybody.
And then does everybody, just to clarify, and I think I know the answer to this, but I want to verify, everybody that works here at the town has a photo ID badge?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. Just want to make sure. All right, thank
Well,
you.
it does say safety shoes in clothing.
Yes.
In uniforms, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So next line, new employee computers, minus $4,800. And Mike, this is fine, right? I mean, again, you put in 12,000, but you think $7,200 is going to cover it, right?
We're going to work to try to maximize what we can with those funds.
Thank you. You make a motion
So
on
that,
610.
that sounds like it's
Because we didn't change anything.
not quite enough, but you're going to be a good soldier and accept what you get. I mean, I think, I don't know how, in general, I mean, how long do you, or how frequently do you sort of cycle through computers?
So a potential computer, 3 to 5 years for, a power user. It might be a little bit less if someone has a lot of intense software and things of that nature, depending on the advancements of technology nowadays. So we had planned to replace, we have about 50 full-time employees, not of all which have a computer, but we had planned to replace 10 in the year. And so we reduced that to be a little bit less than 10. And, we might be able to, our communications IT director does a great job of watching the sales. Sometimes he'll tell me he's running down to Best Buy because they had an open box computer that's at a more affordable price, or a sale that's happening, or something of that nature, that we work to try to maximize those resources as much as possible.
So
We did utilize a lot more this year, where we had a number of new town councilors, so we had to purchase new equipment for those positions to ensure that the new town councils had equipment to access town resources.
Okay, sounds good. So if this line is lower this year and we buy fewer computers, we might have to actually add money back into this line for next year.
Potentially.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll continue to monitor.
okay.
All right, do I have a motion, any comments? Excuse me. Oh, I don't know why I get stuffed up in here.
Good evening, Marcel Vachon. I'm here on Main Street in Gray. I'm one of the people that have just walked the town roads and stuff. Regarding the computers and technology, I want to make sure that whatever is being planned out for the future is taking into effect some of the changes that have come to the various security protocols and measures and the security standards that have been updated. Things have changed just in July. There were a number of standards that were implemented, including for the FTC and including for private information, and for things like just making sure that the systems are being up to date or updated well. One other thing that's coming along that I'm sure you're aware of, but just to make sure, is October 14th of this year, when Windows 10 support for Microsoft goes away. I know that there's some additional funds that you can pay to have that extended by a year, but at that point, you're talking old technology that may not be secure. And I just wanted to make the council aware of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kyle, you want to speak to that, my
Yeah,
friend?
let it go, Kyle.
Come on up, Kyle.
Mr. Foley was right. I do try to be as fiscally conservative as possible while still maintaining, some good tech standards for our employees. Regarding Windows 10, we are aware of the upcoming retirement, so to say, of that operating system. We have a lot of Windows 11 machines right now because we've kind of foreseen this going to happen. So we have only a few Windows 10 machines to upgrade soon, and I have no doubt we'll be able to get it done.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
All right. So do we have a motion to accept that?
I'd like to make a motion to accept. Oh, I'll second.
Second, all in favor? Okay, so the next one is the library.
No.
Whoa, you couldn't hear this.
Well, all these are, we're not changing them.
copiers?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're not changing anything, so
All right.
skip down to.
I do have a question on that. So I just want to confirm, Mike, I mean, we went over this and you explained to me, I know we have the lease is for 5 years and it's like almost 14 a year, I think, or is it 11 something?
So the lease is one portion of our copier expense, and
then
then
the
there's a consumable rate for per copy,
Gotcha.
where they automatically provide us the consumables, but there's a per copy price. So this is our best estimate. We're under a new copier contract with new copiers. That is actually a savings of over previous years
Okay.
with higher quality equipment. So we'll go through a full year, and we'll see if we could save a couple $1,000s in that based on a year's worth of usage, then we may in the future. But I thought it was appropriate to keep it where it's at while we run through that new cycle.
And that's something you and I discussed? Yep.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right, so moving down to the library, cutting $13,000 out of the budget.
Office equipment?
It'd stay the same, so.
No, it actually went, we actually increased from the 8.5 for the original, we actually increased the amount to 12, it was 1,200, we actually increased it $2,800.
Okay,
That's
it
not reflected in
doesn't
the
show that on here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
well, we
yes,
just showed the total, they show the fourth, I know, I'm just telling you what it was, so it's actually increased, but, so we need to make a motion to approve that, or not?
I don't think so.
There's no change from the original proposed budget. I think you had proposed a different number
Well, we had
in
increased
your
it up.
announced,
Yeah, okay. All right,
as you
cool. All
announced
right,
in
so
the
we're
last
good?
meeting,
That's the way it was.
but we
Yeah.
agreed to put it
Okay,
back.
perfect, thank you.
All right, so now the library was at 33. The proposed change is to drop it to 20, removing $13,000. But before any of us speak, Andrea, can you get up and tell us, how that will affect the library, please?
Yes, I'd be glad to. Andrea Keslonis, Library Director. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak this evening. Firstly, I wanted to thank the honorable council members for increasing those collection line items over the numbers that were proposed at the August 5th meeting. I recognize that you've made some changes there, and I appreciate that. As I've informed others, I will make do with whatever funds are allocated and continue the legacy of excellence for the Gray Public Library. I will make do. But I would like to clarify that making do and being happy with an amount are two very different things. In fiscal year 2025, we added 3,405 items to our collection across the books and the audiovisual materials. That included $30,000 for books and $11,000 for audiovisual materials, which averaged a cost of $11.88 an item, which, if you can imagine, books and DVDs actually cost much more retail. We get a lot secondhand, and we have a great collective bargaining agreement called MHEC that we're very happy with. So we do a lot with a little. Using those calculations, with a proposed book budget of $20,000 for FY26 and a proposed AV budget of $6,000, we will be faced with a 37% reduction in our collection budget, which means that we can buy 2,188 items instead of 3,450 for a total item loss of 1,262 items. So included in that loss would be picture books that parents and grandparents read to their children and grandchildren. It'll mean a loss of large print materials that our seniors and friends and neighbors with vision impairment rely on to fulfill their literary needs. It will mean that more folks in our community, specifically seniors on fixed incomes, are forced to allocate already meager budgets to subscribing to streaming services instead of getting their films and television series through the library, which we have a massive amount of folks who take advantage of that. So, I would like to note that in FY '25, we had $30,000 for books. In FY '24, we had $33,000 for books. That was '24. FY '23, we had $32,000 for books. FY '22, we had $29,000 for books, and FY '21, we had $32,000 for books. So we have asked for almost no increases over time. And to make that point even more clear, I dug up the oldest budget information available to me in my old filing cabinet that I just inherited. So for FY 2007 to 2008, so 23 years ago, we had a collection development budget, a book budget of $23,000. That same year, we had an audiovisual budget of $5,000. Now, that was 23 years ago. So this proposed budget, these proposed cuts are taking us back about over 20 years. So the primary service provided by the Gray Public Library is providing books and audiovisual materials to the public, to every member of the community. And thus a 37% cut to our overall collection development budget will be a cut in services. And make no mistake, that is the primary service we provide. So this is a cut in services. With 37% fewer funds than last year, our library will survive. I will make it the best library I can for the money you give me, but we will not thrive.
I have a question. So if people come in and they want to donate to this fund to buy books, does that directly go towards you in the library?
So when we get donations,
Yeah.
that is through our fundraising arm. As a municipal
Okay.
department, I am not permitted to engage in direct fundraising. Our fundraising arm, the Gray Public Library Association, is a separate 501c3. A lot of libraries that are municipal have friends groups. They take those donations and they pay for all of our library programs. So the town pays $0 for library programs. So all of the we had over 100 kids in the library and their families on Thursday for an end of summer reading program. The town paid nothing for that. That's what the Gray Public Library donations go for.
So if I came in and made a donation and said, I want you to buy $5,000 worth of books, could you do that?
We could do that if we get a specific bequest for that, correct?
Well, Mike, can we do this? So if we all chip in, go ahead.
That's correct. If someone wanted to make a donation to the Gray Public Library Association with a specific guidance or recommendation.
Not to the association, but to the library.
Or to the library, either or, for a specific request that could be accepted to the town, or whatever, if you wanted to support programming or things of that nature, could be made and accepted.
Yeah.
Okay.
We cannot actively fundraise. I cannot, for the book sales, the Great Public Library Association has to do that because I can't, as a municipal employee, solicit for
Okay.
donations. But if somebody comes in, and it has happened, I think the largest amount I've ever seen is $500. Somebody came in and wrote us a check for $500, and we bought several books with that.
Well, you're going to see a donation bigger than that coming to you soon.
Thank you. I appreciate
I
it.
have a question. Under the main InfoNet,
Yes.
where you can get, I know you can get up to 15 books at once. Can you do large print books as well on those?
You can. Yes, I will say that we have one of the superior large print collections, but we can borrow large print books from other libraries.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Why don't we start this way? Yeah, come on. Yeah, we'll
Come on.
start here and go that way. That's the easiest thing to do.
Karen Morrison, Sawyer Lane. First of all, I want to thank you folks for re-upping me for 3 more years. I've been a library trustee for quite some time. And I also want to thank you for the time and effort that you've put into the budget. But I feel like I need to speak up for the library. And I'm not going to talk about books, I'm going to talk about circulation numbers. From our, since the pandemic, the library circulation has increased yearly. From our November 24th minutes through October of 2024, patrons had already checked out and renewed 9.66% more than in all of 2023. For the calendar year 2024, Gray Public Library had some of the highest increases in the entire Minerva system. Gray Library increased by 9.33%, while most Minerva systems saw a statistical decrease of 3%. I'm not even talking about the great programming, I'm just talking about circulation. And I'm being a little repetitive, because Andrew's already said this, but in the past 4 years, the budget was between 29,000 and 33,000. It was initially set at 30,000 this year. As she said, the 2007 and 8 budget was $23,000, which in equivalency purchasing power for today is $34,500. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Val Raza. I've lived in Gray for about 40 years. I was on the comp plan and committee, and one of the things that we found in our survey was that Gray Library was the most valued institution in our town. I also do tutoring for SAD 15 at the Gray Library, so I get to see it on a regular basis and how it contributes. We live in a small rural town. The children of our town don't have a lot of different cultural experiences, but the library gives it to them. Last week, they had Sparks Ark, and there was about 70 people there to see wildlife and animals. This week, they're doing something on whales, and children will get to walk inside whales. I watch the kids come when they come for story hour at the Gray Library. They look like they're going to Disney World. They're so excited, running in across to go to their story town. We should not cut anything. The Gray Library is the most valuable cultural institution, and a small rural town needs all the services, all the books, everything that they supply. Everything should be put back in theirs.
Thank you.
Dan McGuire, 70 Johnson Road, Gray. I'm not a library patron. I can't remember the last time I've been to the library except for a meeting. But I understand the value of it, and I heard some talk about donations, and anything that anybody can do to get donations is a great thing. And I kind of see my contribution through my taxes to the library just as that, as a donation. I don't have kids, they don't participate in rec, but I'm a supporter of rec. I think not all of us use all of the programs that the town offers, but as a community, we come together and realize that when you connect the value of all those different things, there's value in it for me, even though I don't use it. And so the budget has stayed fairly flat. You all know the purchasing power of that budget has decreased. So the money that you put forward in the original budget this year, given the inflation of the last few years, isn't going to buy what it used to buy anyways. That's just a sad fact that none of us can do anything about. But I would support putting the money back in for the library for those reasons. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Good evening, Julie Sheets from Wilderness Way. I will echo everything that has been said so far. Several of the council members have said that they were elected to cut taxes, and I appreciate that fiscal responsibility. But you were also elected to be stewards of this town, to protect, encourage, and grow those things that make Gray a town that people want to move to, that people want to stay in, that businesses want to relocate to. And the Gray Public Library is one of those vital services. As Andrea said, you've said you're not cutting services. If you cut the library book budget and audio-visual budget, you're cutting services. You're cutting services to your constituents. I request respectfully that you return the money to the library.
Thank you.
Hi, Rick Light, Chairman Johnson from 35 France Circle. I guess I could probably sit down because most of what I was going to say has been said, but I'll just repeat and I'll try to be concise. The library is really, it's the heart of the community, and there's one thing that it does, is it brings seniors and children, middle-aged people, it gives them a place to go for culture. A lot of people don't have internet or very good working internet, and they use that as a hub for communications. You all recall, we don't have a town paper anymore. In talking about the advertising budget, it's very difficult in this town to get word out on anything unless you're on Facebook, and some people don't use Facebook. So There's a hub, it's the pride of the community, and it serves so many people. I mean, I think when you connect the dots, it goes to education. Without a strong library for youngsters, especially in children, pre-development, preschool, you lose the ability, you lag behind in education, the opportunity for educational processes. So I think you need to think long-term about the library, not as a budget today, but what are we doing for the entire community, and how long has it been benefiting our community? So I would strongly urge that you keep the money back in the budget. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for your hard work, all of you on the council. I know it's not easy, but thank you anyway for your time.
Howdy, everybody. Sam Fightful out on West Gray Road. Definitely thank you all for your hard work. I have been in your shoes quite recently. I'm a big supporter of the library. My children donated all of their birthday money to buy books at the library growing up. Their names are in a bunch of books. They were actually holding the shovels at the groundbreaking for the expansion of the library. I'm obviously a supporter, but I want to talk about process, not about the value of the library, right? When we go to town meeting, we are going to have an ability to talk about these articles. My understanding is that you guys will use closed articles. That's what we use for the school board. So we'll only be able to lower those articles. We won't be able to increase them, right? So if you put forward this, what I would say drastically lower number, we don't even give the community an opportunity to talk about this number when we get to town meeting, right? So I think a hot button issue like this, it's only fair that we at least put the administrator's recommended number for this article. And then if you guys want to make the very first motion be an amendment down to this number, let's have that conversation. We can vote on that number. If that's what the town wants at town meeting, that's the number we'll have. But at least give us the opportunity to talk about the number proposed by administration. That's my request. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, once again, Marcel from across the street here, 23 Main Street, as a matter of fact. As a resident here for over 20 years, I have found that even in the digital age, even in the electronic age where everything is coming off a screen or off a phone, the need for, to pique the kids' curiosity is probably paramount in my mind for when it comes to education, making them go, oh, wait a minute, what is this book about? You really can't do that with a screen. You get a much more narrow point of view if they're looking at screens all day, because they're looking at YouTube, they're looking at various things. They're not looking at an entire assortment of books to look at and pique their curiosity. So I support restoring the original amount, the recommended amount. And as the gentleman prior to me said, if the town meeting wants to reduce that, at least we have the opportunity to talk about it then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Still Donnie Carroll from 2 Fairview Avenue. I'm going to be very brief. I'm going to talk about a library by somebody much more important than I ever will be, a guy you may have heard of, Walter Cronkite. And he said this: whatever the cost of libraries, the price is cheap compared to that of an ignorant nation. You need to restore this money to this budget.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sharon Morey, and actually I live on Hancock Street by the library. And I can tell you, I see people of all ages. I see children run into the library excited for their new books, and they're coming out with new ideas. Literally all ages. That library on a rainy Saturday is a busy place. So I am asking the council to please put this budget item back to the requested amount and not to take this additional cut. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pat Brown again, I'm on Charlotte Drive. Just, I guess, supporting what Mr. Feifel suggested. I think the council needs to hear from the town very much on this particular item. And if they want to propose a cut at the open meeting, do it then, not now.
Thank you.
Darcel DeVoe, Yarmouth Road. And thank you for your hard work. I know it's not an easy thing to do, to work on the budget. I certainly wouldn't want to have to do all of that. Mine is bad enough. And I would just suggest to come back to the original budget that was offered. And the library is a central part of the town. Everybody, and it covers everybody, no matter what your economic position is, that you can go to the library and get your services. Things are not going to be getting any cheaper, unfortunately, and we have to keep up. And this is a town, what I said, the growth value of downtown. Well, how are you going to have the growth value of downtown if you're going to cut services? You know, Gray is really a desirable town to live in. And people are going to come here and have their services, not have services they expect to have in the town that we have. And I thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Sue Fuller from Yarmouth Road. I was here at the last workshop, and the librarian made a statement, and I just couldn't let go of it. She mentioned that about 400 New Gloucester residents are currently using our library. It doesn't seem fair that Gray taxpayers are shouldering the cost for out-of-towners. When this comes to shared schools, we share the cost. And I believe the same principle should be applied here. To put this into perspective, I contacted the town of North Yarmouth. They informed me they pay Cumberland to use their library a year, $311,298. And additionally, they contribute $12,166 to the recreation program. So this gives us a clear example of how a neighboring town is addressing these shared services. So that could be a possibility to help with some of the costs at the library. And I have a couple of questions. I know you probably won't answer them, but I'm going to ask. Last year, fiscal year 2025, how much in private funding did you receive? And then in your checkbook that you have at the library, I understand you have one, I was wondering what the ending balance was at the end of June 2025. And then is it my understanding the books at the library was overdrawn $3,000 at the year end?
So it's not a place to go back and forth, but we can bring up a point of clarification. I just wanted to clarify what that means is that we have a reciprocal with New Gloucester. So the days that they're closed, they can come here, and the days that we're closed, we can go there. That's all that is. Their residents aren't using us, so it just goes back and forth. That's the only reason why, because the 2 days that we're closed, our residents can go up there, and the 2 days that they're closed, we can go up there. So I just want to make a point of clarification.
Could I also clarify something? So I just want to clarify that North Yarmouth doesn't have its own library, so that's why they contribute to Cumberland, so that they can use Cumberland's library.
Does anybody else want to get up and speak? All right, I just want to make a few comments here. I fully support the library. I think that, cutting is a mistake. I think the amount of people that got up here today, the amount of emails, phone calls, texts we've gotten, the majority of the people don't want to cut the library. I understand everything else. I know where we're trying to be, but I think it hurts our town. I really do. I think when we do things like this, it doesn't give us a good look. We're talking about $2.80, and that's if we did all the library stuff that's cut, not just the books. That's all it's going to cost the average person. And I just don't think it's worth it. I feel very strongly about this. I appreciate everything that you've gone through to get here, but to save $2 and to hurt so many people by saving $2, I just don't think it's worth it. I'm going to make a motion to put the $33,000 back in, and as Sam had said, if the townspeople don't want it, we can vote it down and we can take it out. I think every single one of us sitting here has promised that we're going to do what the majority of the town wants. And if you don't put it in and let them decide, shame on you. So, if anybody, I'd like to make a motion to put $33,000 back in, unless, before I do that, anybody else has a different number. It has to come up. We can't go backwards.
I have a different number.
Mr. Chair, there's a public comment online.
Okay. Sorry, Ken, I'll let you speak after.
Yeah, no worries.
They should be able to speak.
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes.
We can see you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hi. So I'm Claire Zimmerman, and I live at Blueberry Lane. I just wanted to comment about the library before public comment was closed. I have been a member of the library since I moved here 3 years ago, and I love checking out books to read. I also have a new baby on the way that I've been really looking forward to bring there to take advantage of all the services. But the books, the music, it's been something that's just been a bright spot in the town to have, because it's such a small town with such an amazing library. I just wanted to say I am totally against the cuts, and I just would love to restore the original budget. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ken.
Okay, we're gonna leave this at $20,000. Ken's Car Care is gonna write a check for 13 grand to make up the difference. This is a hot subject, so I will pay the difference myself.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Restore it and make that donation.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not gonna happen.
Can I just, yep.
Point of information? No, you were saying that you couldn't accept donations. We can't, the GPLA cannot. If somebody wants to give us a donation specifically for books to the Great Public Library, we can accept that.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, sir.
There was a discussion in the back of the room that someone had made a comment about not being able to accept that donation. The town can absolutely accept Councilor Farrington's donation, and if you tell us where you would like it, the town will ensure that that's
I'm
there
gonna put
and
it towards the
documented.
books, and I wanna end this conversation, so this will be done.
If I may, Mr. Farrington, thank you.
You're
That
welcome.
is amazingly generous. However, the cut will still be to $20,000. It'll take us another 10 years to get it back to where it should be, unless, and don't take me wrong, if you want to make that $13,000 donation every year, that's fabulous.
Well, how is that cut gonna take us back to $20,000?
Well, yeah, just a point of clarification. So every year there's a new budget. All right,
Yeah,
so
well,
next year we
we
can
can
move it to
up it, yeah.
80,000. We could, so it won't, I understand your point, but it won't affect next year's budget. I appreciate that, yes. Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion? I mean, I guess I just want to, actually, this is another point of clarification. Is it possible to create a separate warrant article at this point, just for the library line, that we could vote on and restore it to the 30,000 or 33, and then vote it up or down at the meeting?
Thank you. Per the town's charter, we can only act on the failed warrant articles.
Okay.
So we wouldn't be able to
Just
create
checking.
any new warrant articles.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
May I?
I think to Ken's point, let's just move on. Right? I mean, unless there's something.
No, I just, there's a lot I'd like to say, but, one of the things I want to say is, some people may think because of these cuts, we don't care about the library, and it's simply not true. And I'm going to give you an example. If you look at Maine InfoNet, which is what Andrea and I were talking about, where a library holder can get up to 15 books at a time, in 2024, the actual cost of that program that we're paying for was $7,633.40. In 2026, in 2 years, the cost of that program has almost gone up 60%. And I have to ask everybody in here, if your cost of groceries or anything else went up 60%, Would you be buying something differently? You sure would. But we're continuing the program, and I think everybody is looking at the fear of one thing and not the whole thing. So we're supporting these things, and it may not always be wrapped the way you want it, but we are going to work to go forward. I really want to work with Andrea and spend some time with her. I've got some ideas on how we can enhance that library and bring additional business in. I know there's a lot of, for example, realtors that do extra courses to get credits and things like that. They go to Pat's Pizza, they're going to North Yarmouth, they're renting out a room for $150 for 2 hours. There's things that we can do and then bring more people in to get the library even more popular. So we do care. We got voted to reduce taxes and look at things. And I know people love the library, but you know what? There are a lot of people that are working 6 days a week that are struggling to get by, that just don't have the opportunity to get to the library. We're all one community, and we're trying to work together. And what we're doing this year, we're not saying we're going to do next year. We will reevaluate. Thank you.
Okay, we'll save $2.80. Do we have a motion to accept the $13,000 reduction?
This is unacceptable, what you're doing.
You can leave.
No.
No, you can leave. I'm not going to listen to you speaking up. Sit there and be quiet. When it's your turn, you can get up there and stand, but do not speak out. No, not after that. I'm not going to put up with it. You're a bully, and I'm not going to deal with it. I don't care. Do we have a motion to accept the $13,000 reduction?
I make a motion to approve the $13,000 reduction.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? All right, let's move on. So the next one is audio-visual. So $3,000 reduction audio-visual. Does anybody want to get up and comment about audio-visual?
The way you're talking to the public is unacceptable. The way you're making your comments about what you think it's proper, it's not proper. You cannot talk to us like this. So please, I hope your colleagues will put you in order, because this is not it.
All right, anybody else? Please get up.
So 87, oh, sorry. I didn't see that she was coming up.
I apologize, this is not specific to the audiovisual, but I feel like I need to respond to something Mr. Palander just said before the vote. He said you were voted in to cut the budget, to cut taxes. You were also voted in, sir, all of you folks, to be stewards of our town, including the library, including the future of this town with regard to economic development. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else want to talk about audio-visual? Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll move to approve.
Second it?
All in favor? All opposed? All right. Personnel development, $1,500 reduction for library. Any discussion?
Clarification, that's from the recreation department.
Oh, the rec department, okay.
All
right.
I see, yep.
Any discussion? Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? All right, and then, Mike, do we need to do this? We really don't need a vote on this, though, do we?
Well, it is a proposed reduction
Okay.
to the budget of $100,000 in paving. And I'll just reiterate that as part of the town's road resurfacing capital reserve fund that the town has established in years past and continues to contribute to that every year. There are some funds remaining of a little over $300,000, and why we wanted to potentially use some of those funds to help cover our resurfacing program. We have totally reduced the resurfacing program from $700,000 to $400,000. So we will want to, in future years, try to increase that back so we can continue to have the around $700,000 annually set aside to support our road resurfacing programs.
Okay, thank you.
So can I just need to understand this better. So I mean, I feel like we've seen this movie before and it doesn't end well. I mean, back in the early 2000s, going into the mid-teens, there was zero money in the capital improvement fund for any kind of capital improvements. And what that meant was that we hadn't saved any money, and toward purchases of equipment that would last a long time, improvements to our buildings, and all of that. We had to do kind of all at once, and I think Dan McGuire can speak better than I can to that. I wasn't on the council then, but I did hear a lot about it. I just think this is a terrible precedent to set. I don't think we're going to be able to make this money back up very easily, and I definitely oppose this one.
Dan?
Dan McGuire, Johnson Road Guy. I hear and I understand the idea that the budget fluxes up and down, that it can be increased as well as it can be decreased. Some of the larger expenses and the more volatile expenses, like paving, I think are areas to be cautious with. It's not easy to find an extra $200,000 when the price of oil all of a sudden spikes, and pavement is significantly higher than it is. Obviously, the budget for this year was based on prices that, fortunately for us, were less expensive than we actually ever dreamed they would be. So I think that there's a range to which you can expand again in the future, because either worse inflation, an economic downturn, some of these other things can require you to put back all the money that you're trying to save this year. When I got on the council 8 years ago, we had a lot of failed roads. There wasn't any money in the budget, and slowly over a period of time, we were able to add a little bit and a little bit more. This is one of those line items that isn't just a one-year look ahead in my mind. This is one of those areas where you need to be more cautious, because you're not going to be able to find the extra $200,000 or $300,000 if all of a sudden that's what happens. And when you get behind on roads, I promise you, it takes years to get caught back up again. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Rick Light, 35 France Circle. Start with, I would vote against reducing the budget for several reasons. One, as Councilor Gass said, it's a slippery slope. I think we all know it. And you take this out of the budget, the construction costs, which I know very well, are only going up significantly every year. Not cost of living, but significantly. And so your buying power today is going to be, tomorrow is going to be much less than today. This town has had such a history, as Councilor Gass indicated too, of underfunding and under-maintaining properties, roads, infrastructure, and we're starting on that slippery slope again. The town, you talk about investment in the town, you talk about people coming and businesses coming. People see the lack of investment the town puts into itself. And they see that, and they go to other communities that are more welcoming, where they see a town is looking to the future. If we continue to cut, where's our forethought? What are we thinking about for tomorrow? I know the budget is difficult. I know it's difficult to maintain it, and I want to be fiscally responsible too, and understand people are on limited income. We all have budgets we have to deal with. But when you get to things like this, it really speaks in a much larger vein to people that are looking at this community and seeing that there is no real investment. And this is just maintaining. This isn't moving forward. This isn't talking about the village plan. This is just maintaining what we have. And so as our town begins and continues to crumble, it's stormwater, it's paving, it goes on, people take notice and you're going to lose investment. Investment's where the revenue side comes in. So I would encourage the council, please, to not reduce the funds. Thank you.
Thank you.
Howdy, everybody. Sam again. Just want to, again, talk about process, right? We have an opportunity to go this last mile, right? Think about how we have set up our charter, right? We said that the town council puts a budget in front of the people take a vote, the people voted it down, right? It's not the same way the school budget works. School budget, we have a validation meeting, and then we go to the ballot box one more time, right? Here at the town, all we do is the town meeting, right? So the responsibility I think that you have in front of you is to have that conversation again with the town, right? If we go with these draconian cuts, and I think you guys agreed they're draconian, right? That's the point of them, right? You're not allowing us as citizens to have any real vote. I can't vote this budget down. We have to leave town meeting with a number. If I can only go down, why bother even attending, right? You know, you don't give us the opportunity to have the conversation in a democratic way. I think all of you have said many times that you believe a lot in transparency, democracy, having people have a say. Let's put it in front of people and have the conversation on September 9th. If you are confident that this is what the town wants, it's not a problem. But at least allow us to have the conversation on important issues like our literal infrastructure in our town, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Judy Semino, Wellington Court. I think the first thing I wanted to say was I think you guys worked really hard. You put a lot of time and effort in, there's no doubt about it. I'm a little disappointed in you speaking to Al that way. I think it was very unprofessional, Mike. I don't know what's going on, but I definitely think there's an issue that it's not correct to do that to somebody. But besides that, I wanted to say I don't really think it's a good idea to take out of the cash reserve for the paving. I think if you're going to lower the budget, the bids came in at $500,000, you had $700,000. I would leave it at the $500,000, but I wouldn't lower it anymore by taking money out of cash reserves for the paving. I think that money needs to be in there for that. And the reason why is it doesn't lower the budget at all. It doesn't lower taken out of the cash reserve, doesn't change the taxpayers' amount at all. I think some of the biggest things that I had a challenge with when looking at the budget was, and I know I'm probably supposed to be on one line item, but I don't know where else I can talk about this, so is it okay if I talk about the budget a little bit? Okay, so first of all, there's a town budget that they put out, was this page right here, and it says of August spreadsheet, and it talks about the revenues and the expenses. On here, it's talking about the revised budget, and on the debt service page, it's got $798,000 to pay back the debt. Well, that's not the right number. To pay back our debt is actually $1 million. It says it right here. I was nice enough to get this from Justine, so I appreciate that very much, to give me this information. So this right here is talking about how much debt do we owe this year in 2026. We owe $1.1 million. That is our payment. But on the budget, we are budgeted only for $788,000. So what, are we not going to make our payment? I mean, that's just not right. So something is not right with this. We can't be taking and not paying our bills. You know, and it may be that we're taking this out of the cash balance or something like that. It does not matter. Wherever it comes from, it has to be that amount based on that. The other thing is we had revenues of excise tax. Excise tax revenue was budgeted 2025 for $2.6 million. That's how much we budgeted. Excise tax goes up on a pretty consistent basis of about 3.5% a year. Last year, the budget was increased in the revenue side by 21%. How in the world do you think you're gonna change your excise tax by 21%? I mean, everybody go buy a new car this year or something? I mean, really? Okay, so I mean, it's off by $300,000 short in revenues right now. We're down $300,000 in revenues. Isn't that right, Mike, in the excise tax? And I see that and I see that you have stuck with the same exact number for this year, knowing that we're down $300,000 to $400,000 in revenues. And so I challenge you that these revenues are not correct, and we're setting ourselves up for serious failure on the mill rate and on our revenues and on our budget. Here we are working so hard to save $1 million when our revenue is in trouble. The other thing is we have the rec department. The rec department.
Judy, you're at 3 minutes. If
can I just have like 1 minute?
Yeah,
or
just
30
just
seconds?
go for another minute. All right.
So the rec department had $789,000 in income in 2024. Do you know what it was in 2025? $427,000. It's almost half.
That was a accounting change.
What's that?
No, that's not.
Okay, so I mean, it's a huge impact. I'm talking about 300,000 here, 300,000 there. It's a lot of money. This is not right. Something is wrong. We need to fix it before we finalize anything on this. Or we're going to be in trouble with the mill rate. We're going to be in trouble with next year's budget. So I'm just urging us to really do a little bit more homework on the revenue side of this. The budget for 2025 came in. I got it yesterday. And salaries never hit budget. Almost every department was over in salaries. So we didn't even stay within our budget on a lot of items. HR health savings account was up $85,000. I don't know how that can be possible, and there was all kinds of other things. So I think it just needs another look. That's all.
Thank you, Judy.
Yeah.
I just want to make a quick comment. when, and I've talked to the attorney about this, when people get up to speak, it's just public comment. It's not a public discussion, all right? We don't sit and go back and forth to people that want to yell out and be disrespectful. You know, I apologize that you feel I disrespected you, but, you know, you've asked us to do things that are illegal and bullying online, and I won't tolerate that. So I'm just telling you right now that if you want to speak, you have an opportunity to get up here when it's your turn, okay? When it's on an item here, all right? And you've got 3 minutes, all right? And we're not going to go back and forth, all right? And that's, you know, that's what our attorney has told us to do, all right? So I'm just sticking with that, and I try to do that, all right? Thank you. Yes, sir.
Again, Marcel Vachon from Main Street here in Gray. I'm going to dial this back a little bit and back before my last speaker here and just talk about the $100,000 that's coming out of the budget, or that balance for resurfacing and things. And what I look at is I don't want to see that cut out of that. And the reason being is the resurfacing, in my opinion, the resurfacing from where Old Lewiston Road kicks in has been done. They did a really nice job from here to New Gloucester, and that's great. But they haven't touched Main Street in years, and I would you know, invite anyone here to just walk down the right side of the street here along that sidewalk, and that sidewalk is cracking, it's falling in. There's now a fire hydrant that's been, I guess, hit by a truck or something that's now laying down. There's going to be expenses like that's going to hit us, and we don't want to just try to rob from Peter to pay Paul here. So my comment is to please restore that, or not take that $100,000 out of that, because I think we're going to need it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Tim, can you get up here, and you're the expert on this.
Tim Estes, Public Works Director.
What's your comments on all this? What's your take?
I really feel, I mean, if we're gonna use the reserve, I can do away with the 400,000, but as a lot of folks in the public feel that we should save the reserve and put it back to 500,000, I guess I would support that.
Okay, appreciate it.
Any other comment about paving? Yeah, got anything? I thought you wanted to add something.
No.
All right, so,
I'll go with you.
Let's put it back in.
I'll move to restore the funding to the budget,
I'll
the
second
100,000.
second,
Yes.
all in favor?
Do it. Okay, back in.
All right, and then the last thing is, oh God, I can't see, is the miscellaneous office equipment, taking out $1,000. Any questions from you guys, or?
None.
What are we not buying?
This was money we had set aside in our communications IT budget if there was a piece of hardware we randomly needed or things of that nature, and we were just trying to make some sacrifices in order to support the budget.
Thank you, Michael. I mean, so I just go back to the comment I made earlier of when we're cutting a lot, you know, almost all of these line items to the bone, it makes it really difficult to, you know, plunder them for expenses that go over in other categories, and I just really am concerned about that. I mean, when you have a multi-million-dollar operation, whether it's a business or a town or your family budget, I mean, there are things that come up that you just can't anticipate. A couple of years ago, we had back-to-back sprinkler failures in this building that were just, you know, unbelievably damaging. Yes, insurance paid for some of it, but there were additional costs, and that's the kind of thing we simply can't anticipate. So it really concerns me. I think we've done ourselves and the town a disservice by cutting the budget so low. And I don't agree with these cuts.
I don't think so. I think
Do we have a
Al's right.
motion to?
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Al's right, the town is over, the budgets have been overinflated. That's why we're way over our 312 limit. So all we're doing is just trying to reduce down a budget that's been overinflated for the past 2 years. So I don't see this as crippling the town in any way, shape, or form.
This is what, I mean, honestly, this is what they asked for, and I can understand Ann's perspective, because she had voted on the prior budget, which is almost $1 million more, and we're just trying to give town back some of that money, so, go ahead, Dan.
Dan McGuire, Johnson Road, Gray. The overinflation and the increase in the unassigned fund balance is, as Michael has said several times, people have been overtaxed, and sadly, that's not true. But you have to ask the question, well, how did that happen and why? And one of the reasons it happened is because we did not have an audit. We did not know how much money we had in that fund. We couldn't spend the money to either reduce taxes or to spend on the budget because we didn't know what was there. Very thankful that you've put the money back in for the audits, so that, thank God, we can finally get caught up by the end of this year. And in the future going forward, I don't expect that it will be the same problem. But the undesignated fund balance is a separate issue from the municipal budget in and of itself. And I just wanted to clarify for people, because I think it's an important distinction. And it also is just another point for how important those audits are.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely, we're looking forward to getting those caught up this year, for sure.
Do we have a motion to accept the $1,000 cut for this?
I move.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? All right. So, Mike, how much time do you need to get these changes in?
I've started to work on it, but can you maybe give me 5 or 10 minutes? And
Okay.
then
Yeah,
I can
this-
print out revised documents
Okay.
for everyone.
So we're going to adjourn the meeting now? All right.
Fran wants to say something.
All right, I already
Fran, you
adjourned
want
the meeting.
No, Fran has to say something. I have my hand up. She's got her hand up. I have a question only.
Okay, we don't answer questions, but, okay.
No, this is what I think you need to look at. Do you want me to
Go-
speak now?
Fran, you can go up to the mic.
I can take a piss, so you guys can listen to this.
The question is, do you want me to speak now about an article on the warrant, or do you want me to wait until the main meeting and speak about the warrant
I think you need to speak,
article?
I do believe you need to speak now, because there's no open conversation in the next meeting, because it's a special town council meeting and not a town council meeting. Would that be correct, Mike?
If it's related to the budget, the budget warrants are on there, and public comment could be made during that action.
Okay,
item.
was it, all right, cool.
So
It
where do
was-
you want me to speak about it?
So Mike, can she speak about it at the next session is the question?
She can, but it's up to you as the person in charge of the meeting, whether you want to have her speak now or later.
Yeah, later, you can speak, we can speak at the meeting, I think that's fine.
At the main meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let Mike do his thing. So I guess we're gonna take, what, 15, Mike, 20? What do you need?
10 minutes, just 10.
All right, let's just say, all right, let's say we get back together at 7:40.
I'll adjourn.
All right, you guys ready? All right. So, hey, I want to thank everyone for coming to the special town council meeting, Tuesday, August 19th, 2025 at 7 p.m. If you want to join the meeting through Teams, it's on the website. If you want to call in, the number is 469-708-0487. The meeting ID is 877-172-361 hashtag. I'm going to do a quick roll call, and I'll start at my right this time. Ken?
Present.
Vinnie?
Present.
Ann?
Yes, present.
Charity?
Present.
And Mike Johnson, I am here present as well. All right, we are going to stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic to which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. I just want to take a quick second to take a moment to recognize the passing of one of our beloved town members and one of the local merchants, Stacy Stratford. Stacy was cherished by many in our community and will be deeply missed. I'd like to just take 30 seconds to pause for a moment of silence in her memory. Thank you, guys. I'd also like to just recognize one of our local heroes, Matt York. Through his bravery and selfless actions, he helped prevent a tragedy and protected others from harm. Matt, your courage and willingness to risk your life for the safety of our community make us incredibly proud and on behalf of the town. And we'd like to thank you for your service and sacrifice last Friday in Wyndham. All right, so let's move to town business. All right, so what we need to do is we need a motion to take the order 2526-4 tabled. We'll get to her. So order 2526-4, the town meeting warrant articles. Do I have a motion to take that off the table?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? All right. So now we need a motion to, how does that work, Mike?
Yeah, so you need a motion to approve order number 2526-4 based on the motion that's included there.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion, I'd like to have a motion for 2526-4 for the new warrant articles that we had just discussed. Second?
I'll second.
Charity, all in favor? All right, so we'll open it up for discussion. Before any of us speak, I told Fran she would have an opportunity to get up and speak real quick.
Mr. Chair, did you want me to just present the changes real quick?
I offered to let her speak first, but thank you.
Thank you. So just understand, when you get the new numbers of what you discussed prior, it'll be the new article number 3 will have a correct number in it, correct? Right, that you just, okay. Now, I'm here to speak about Article 6. And so to get information on that, I was given the worksheet, and it went up to June of '24. So at the time I received it, it was appropriate to use that worksheet. But since then, some time has passed, and we have an update now. So I checked with the finance director yesterday and asked for an update on the current status of the TIF. That's the article number 6, by the way. And so I got that information. And then I was looking at it, and the numbers are all different. And then for tonight's meeting, I took off the internet the revenue and the expenditures, the totals. And on the line that says transfers from TIFs, the last 22, 23, 24, those numbers are not at all like any of the numbers on any 3 sheets of paper that I have. I appreciate what Dan McGuire said earlier about, the reason why the town was overtaxed basically is because we didn't have audits and stuff like that. This is kind of like an audit. These numbers that are on this sheet of paper should be the same as what's on these other two sheets provided by the town of Gray. So I don't know how you can vote on that article when you don't know what your fund balance is at this time. One sheet says your fund balance ending December fund balance as of 25, 611,374. And that isn't what there is there. Oh, yeah, and the other thing is, I'm sorry, let me back up a second. On this warrant article, what's incorrect about the warrant article, it doesn't state what TIF you're taking the money from. It says you want it not to exceed 254,000, but it doesn't say which TIF. We have 3 TIFs, and it's not identified on your warrant article. So I think that has to be included before you even vote on it. And second of all, most money articles will have a backup to for the amount of money, a backup of where the expenses are going to be spent. It just says for activities and projects authorized. Well, which projects and activities and projects are authorized? So you don't have a backup to this. So Article 6, I don't see how you can vote on that unless you vote to make it 0, which is unfortunate. But again, this is the town's documents, and none of them agree with each other. And I'm very disturbed about that because, again, we had the problem before, and we don't know the true balance as of today. And the finance director was going to check into it for me today, and and I asked her to call MMA and all that stuff too. So I don't know where you guys are. All right. So I hope you consider that when you're looking at this article and at least ask some questions or whatever, because it's incorrect at this time.
All right, thank you, Fran. All right, Mike, do you want to get up and present now, please?
Sure, I just want to make a point of order. I think you entertained a motion to approve the warrants as presented.
Yeah.
In addition to the removing it from the table, and I think you guys voted.
Did we? Is it over and done with?
I think that's what happened, so I think somebody procedurally should just make a motion to reconsider, to put the order back in front of you, and then we can.
You're talking about Article 6?
We can make the presentation about the budget. No, for the whole warrant article.
For the whole warrant article. We voted on it already.
Oh, whoops. All right. Go ahead, make it.
Yeah, I move that we reconsider that warrant article.
Yep.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
So now the original order is before you to
Okay.
vote on after.
Okay.
So I just wanted to present the revised figures based on what took place in the workshop. So I have some updated numbers here. So the reductions now total $113,450, $20,000 of which is from TIF. The administration total reduction is $95,950. And the library and recreation reduction is $17,500, and the town council had voted to restore the $100,000 for public works road resurfacing. So I just want to point out how that reflects in the total budget with those proposed cuts. The total municipal general fund budget is $12,465,000, which is a reduction of $938,011. Or a reduction of 7%. The TIF school and county numbers have not changed from what I presented earlier, but that makes a total budget, combined budget of $28,502,646, or an increase of $291,805, which is a total increase of 1.03%. The revenues, they changed slightly with a reduction of $2,500 from the snowmobile revenue, which is a total reduction of $144,047 in anticipated non-property tax revenues, or a 2% reduction. And then the municipal total net need, estimated tax needs, for the municipal portion totals $5,343.92, which is a reduction of $1,098,318, which is actually a 17.1% reduction in the net need from taxes for the municipal. The TIF, school, and county have not changed. That makes a total net need from taxes of $380,738, or a slight increase from fiscal year 25 of $131,498, or 0.6%. With accompanied with the increased valuation, this translates to a municipal tax rate of $2.42, which is a 52-cent reduction, or 17.7%. And I'll just mention that for the municipal budget, which the town council has control over, this would be a decrease in property taxes for the municipal portion of the budget by $247.52. And then there's no change to the TIF or the school from what was presented earlier, or the county, which makes a final tax rate with everything combined of $9.68, which is a, I didn't adjust the number here, which is a 2-cent reduction in the property tax rate, or a $9.29 decrease in property taxes to the average property owner. And that is the last slide I had. So the revised budget warrants I handed out to you, which reflect those appropriate numbers. The Article 3 references the budgetary figures minus the appropriation of $10,500 for total for town council compensation. And then Article 6 represents the share that's being spent to support the Economic Development Department through tax increment financing districts. And then the Article 14 is the request to eliminate the debt service that's eligible to be paid off using unassigned general fund balance of $1,100,000 to pay off the debt that's eligible to be paid off. And so those are the 4 warrant articles that'll be taken up at the annual town meeting. And that's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, thank
Happy
you.
to answer any questions.
Do you have any questions? You guys?
Do we vote on all these at once, collectively?
Yeah, so you're voting on the warrants as presented, the whole
Do you have
warrant.
any, just for conversations before we do this, do you have any comments or thoughts on what was said about Article 6 at all? What are your?
So we've had this for the last 2 years reviewed by legal counsel, and it's an eligible language associated with that. We have 3 development programs, and there may be things that we do as part of our economic development department that could fall under different programs. And when we reconcile at the end of the year, we'll put what's eligible under certain programs, under certain
So you think the
TIF
figures, I
balances.
mean, I guess what I'm saying is, do you think the figures are right, like the dollar numbers?
Yes, that's the TIF budget. The economic development budget plus the costs associated for benefits of the economic development director.
And it's not to exceed.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be perfect, you know? I mean, we need to make sure that we don't exceed it, right? But that's the way I've read these. I mean, am I wrong?
No, yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
And part of
All
the,
right.
some of the discrepancies that people may see is, one, the figures that everyone's seeing are all unaudited, and the balances that are provided forecast the revenue that's happening in fiscal year 26. And so that's why some of those figures don't add up to folks. And the unaudited figures are something that needs to be audited, and those will accurately reflect. And we're using starting numbers of fiscal year 23, which is an audited figure. And going forward, when we have the correct audits, we'll have correct figures in the future.
All right, and then, and Fran, I think it does warrant us to look into that a little bit further, but I'm comfortable with this language because of the way, it's up to that amount, but I understand your point, okay? Any questions from the board on any of this stuff? Okay. So I'm going to open up to the general public now for questions, specifically on the warrant articles.
Howdy, Sam Feifel, West Gray. Just a point of clarification, for the budget validation meeting for the school, we have the opportunity to vote in our articles as either open or closed articles, whereby closed articles, they cannot be raised, open articles, they can be either raised or lowered. Do we have the opportunity at Greytown meeting to have open articles?
No, we don't.
That's just not a thing at town meeting.
Per our charter, right? Is that right?
Correct. So the charter does not allow for, thank you, I appreciate that clarification. It's been a long time since we had a town meeting, well, we had one last year, I guess, but, so I would just make one last plea, right? We saw the numbers that were presented. There are 2 articles where there's a discrepancy between what was originally brought by administration and what was cut in the most recent workshop. We have the opportunity to put those in front of the town and then allow for amendments to make those lower numbers in the town meeting. I implore you to give the people of Gray the opportunity to discuss those cuts because they are clearly very important. They were so persuasive in the most recent meeting that we decided to make a change right in that meeting to the road paving. Let's have that same fruitful discussion amongst the townspeople at town meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. You're fine, you can go back up.
Okay, just for clarification, if you don't mind, I'll use the 23 year because that has been audited, okay? And so, but I'm trying to make my point here. It says expenditures in 23, fiscal year 23, 126,000. On today's sheet, expenditures, 135,000. Okay?
So, Fran, all I want to say, you're smart at all this stuff, but I really want to keep it. We're supposed to be only talking about these warrant articles.
I am.
Okay, so which one are you talking about, and what do you?
Year 20, well, I understand you're in 25, 24, 25, and 26. I got all those numbers. But just for auditing, because it was brought up, this is the audited portion that has already been done. That's why I'm trying to put in, there's a confusion or a doubt about the accuracy of the numbers, bottom line. So in 23, that has been audited. We were told $126,000 were expenses. Today, I was told the expenses are $135,000. Okay, that number doesn't match.
Yeah, Fran, I still don't understand how it affects these 4 articles that we're trying to talk about right now, and I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just,
No, I appreciate your point. I'm trying to make myself clear. So if I go back to then the other ones, the other one that I was talking about, transfers from the TIFs. Let's talk about that one then. The transfer from the TIF for 25, fiscal year 25, and 25, transfer from the TIF, on the paper I got today, says $171,000. On the papers that you have in front of you, it says it's $346,000.
Well, in Article 6, it says 234,000.
No. I'm talking about the budget summary that you received.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
Budget summary that you received.
No, we understand that, but what I'm just trying to state that we're supposed to be talking. What this meeting is about is approving or not approving this.
Right.
Okay, so we're very clear, and I understand your point, and I think it's something we should look at, Fran. Okay, but now is not the time to do that. All right, but I think
We were overtaxed because of unaudited numbers, and I'm trying to help you look at your numbers to make sure that they are correct, so that we don't go through a whole big mess this year when the auditors come in.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Fran.
And by the way, whenever the school board superintendent and finance director makes changes on the budgets, the transfers between all the sheets of paper and everything, all the numbers match.
Okay.
So I just wanted to point that out. You can make all your papers say what it's supposed to say. These don't.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any comments about the warrant articles? Yes, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Harrison Dia, and 9 Morgan Meadow Drive in Gray. I'm new to the town of Gray, and so I've been trying to follow the process, see how things work in the budget. I do see a lot of emotions, a lot of energy, which is good, but I just think that we can channel the energy and the emotions in a manner where it serves everybody. I know the councilor mentioned that they were elected to cut taxes. I disagree with that. I mean, I think you were elected to serve in the best interest of the town, whether it's cutting taxes or appropriating taxes the way it should be in order to provide the services that are needed. And so I think just looking at it, I've been following the meetings online. Haven't had the time to come in because, work schedule. But I think we can be intentional because the budget is a reflection of our priorities. And so we have to put our money where our mouth is and try to provide the services that needs to be provided. Slash and burn mentality won't help us as far as trying to grow. And so, yeah, taxes are hard. Nobody likes taxes. I mean, I don't like being taxed, but again, if it's necessary in order for us to provide services that we need for folks in the town. So again, I appreciate everything that went into it. I appreciate the reconsideration from the last meeting and trying to work things out. I mean, I think at the end of the day, we have to assume the best intentions of everyone. Not that anyone is out to, just increase taxes or anyone is here to just not fund the town. But when we're having the conversation, it's just having to be civil in our dialogue and trying to solve problems as they present themselves. So thank you very much for all the hard work that you do.
Thank you. Anyone else want to get up and talk about the articles? All right, then can we have a motion to, all right, I gotta,
Get to read it first?
so.
You have the motion, someone made it.
George already made the motion, okay, so now we just vote on it?
Yeah.
So, let's vote on it. Ken? Yes.
Yes.
Vinnie?
Yes.
Charity, yes.
Yes.
Ann?
No.
And I'm a no. All right, thank you. We have a town council workshop September 2nd at 5:30, a town council meeting at 7 on September 2nd, a town council retreat September 16th at 5, a town council meeting October 7th at 7 p.m., and we're adjourned.
Mr. Chair, if I may just suggest we remind everyone of September 9th, town meeting to be held at the high school at 6 p.m. Will be open at 5:30 for registration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get that top page back?
Yes.
Do we read that? Do we have to not read that?
No, I don't think we have to read it, because we had the article, so we read the number.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, yeah.
Because hold on. Yeah.